Okay, so the last thing we learned was about arithmetic sequences. And an arithmetic sequence, when you see that kind of sequence, it's because you're always having a common adder, okay, or a common difference, okay? When we're going to now talk about geometric sequence, is because it always has a common ratio or a common multiplier. So, what did I multiply by? That's what we're asking ourselves, okay? I'm not asking you what am I dividing by, I'm asking you what am I multiplying by. Okay, sequence 1. So I went from a 4 to an 8 and then a 16. So what am I multiplying by? 2. What if I don't see it? I would take a term and divide by a previous term. So let's just take a pick. I could take the term 16 and divide it by the one in front of it. 16 divided by 8 is 2.
Why did I write down 4?
Okay, number 2, I think we could actually physically see it here. From a 5 to a negative 15, I'm multiplying by negative 3.
How much is it now?
Again, if I don't see it, I could just pick any term, so 45, and divide by the term in front of it. Okay, obviously you can't do that with the first term because there's nothing in front of it, but any other term. Okay. What am I timesing by? It's going to be a decimal because I'm getting smaller. How do you multiply and end up getting smaller? You're multiplying by a fraction or a decimal. It is 1/3. So 180 is 1/3 of 540. 60 is 1/3 of 180. Again, what if I don't see it? Because that one could have been tricky. I'm going to take a term, so I'm going to say 20 divided by the one in front of it, which is 1/3. Okay, some of you might have answered me 0.33333. I personally don't really like that. Will I mark it wrong? Probably not. But you should also at this point in your math career recognize the decimal 0.33333 as 1/3. What is the decimal 0.66666? 2/3. You should recognize those decimals. Okay? Did you guys know that anything that is divisible by 9 is a repeated decimal?
Yeah, I did.
2 divided by 9 is 0.222222. 3 divided by 9 is 0.33333, which is also 1/3, right? 3 divided by 9. 4 divided by 9, what's the prediction? 0.44444. Okay. Number 4. This one, I'm guessing you can't see it. So, let's take a term and divide it by its previous. What do you want to pick? Doesn't matter to me. 1/6 divided by its previous. So take a term, divide by a previous.
If you chose the other one, do you have to cross out the
Yes. But this will also make a cross out. Okay, what do you do when you divide fractions? You multiply and reciprocate.
I got it.
What did we learn last unit about reducing? I can cancel a 3 out, changing this to a 1 and changing this to a 2. So what is the value here?
Exactly what I said.
1/2.
Why am I so good?
Okay, a geometric sequence has the 4th term and the 7th term, so I'm just going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blanks. Okay. This is a geometric sequence, so that means I would have to times by an r, times this by r, times this by r, and I would get there. Does that make sense? Just like here, 4, and then I times by 2 and get there, times by 2 and get there, times by 2 and get there. Jumping all the way from there to there, what did you multiply by? What's the number? From here to here, what number did I multiply by? 27? So how did I get that? Divide. This number divided by that number will tell me what did I multiply by. Okay. Some of you will want to do this. Take this divided by 3, not the math operation. What is going on when I do an r times an r times an r? What's the same math as doing that? Exponent. It's not, this is not 3r. r plus r when we did the arithmetic sequence was 3r. Now this is r cubed. So what do I do in math to get r? Cubed root it. What is that without your calculator? 3. So did it work? Let's try it. Can you take this times 3 times 3 times 3? Can we fill this all in? 378 times 3 times 3 times 3. Did it work?
Is that a 2?
Yeah. So the r equals 3. Find term 1. Figure out the first term. What are you going to do? Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Or if you like to shortcut things, you would divide by 3 cubed or divide by 27, or you can do them individually. Okay, so let's look at this. Ready? When I did this type, I figured out my total add, and then I divided. I figured out how much did I add by, and then I divided to see each interval. So that was that question. what is different on the geometric? We did a total multiply and then we rooted whatever root we might do. We might do a cubed root, a fourth root, fifth root. Okay, so that's different. First, on arithmetic, what did we totally add up? And then what did we divide? Here we totally multiplied and then we rooted. Do we know how to push a button like the fourth root of something?
Yep, I'm just gonna ask.
Do you know how to do that in your calculator?
Is it the X for roofing?
Do you know how to do this in your calculator? So for me, I do these buttons. I push the 4, and then I have a button called the any square root, x root of 625. Does anybody not know where that button exists on their calculator?
I don't know how to do it on mine.
Oh,
I have a bad calculator.
I think you have to do 625 first.
I think it is. 625. No, that's 65. Put 5?
Yeah. So what did you do? 625?
625, second top from
Any root, and then 4. So you always are just doing backwards.
This is a pain.
Okay. Finding a certain term in a geometric. So we're going to go, and I want to figure out what the 10th term would be. So kind of whatever. By the time we get over here, right? This is term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. We'd go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the 10th term if we keep going?
Are we gonna have the values on the?
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay, here we go. The formula. Term n. So I'm going to go term 10. Term 1, which is 80, times the r. What is our common multiplier? Negative. Negative a half. Do we see it? Obviously, going positive, negative means you're negative. We're a half of what we were. We're a half of what we were. I better see brackets. I'm going to really deduct points on that if you don't put brackets on it this time.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes I'm a little lenient on tests. That one, not very good. Okay, then the exponent would be how many terms subtract 1? So what term are we going up to? 10, subtract 1, so 9. Okay, type that into your calculator. Please make sure that you're doing brackets on it.
Ooh, I didn't do it right. Awesome.
Is it okay if you get the?
Yeah, because you have a fancy calculator.
At least you don't have the dumb one with me.
I don't think. Yeah, that makes sense.
I can do it on my other calculator and get a fraction.
Oh, the really fancy one?
Do you not have a fraction button on your other one?
Some buttons are handy. You should have seen it. I was trying to figure out how to calculate something with my dad that had brackets in it. We were doing it wrong. You're putting brackets in the same spot.
Okay, so depending on your calculator, those were the two options.
That's what I did.
Okay, number 2. I'm trying to figure out what the 11th term is if I keep going. So term 11 equals term 1, so 5, times the r.
2.
So looking at my sequence, what am I multiplying by? 2. To the exponent. So n is how many terms are we going up to? 11 minus 1, so 10. Does that make sense? Because if I kept going, I would get an 80, and then a 160, and then a 320, and then a 640, right? Okay, number 3. Let's actually start by just figuring what our r is. Okay, we're going to take a term and divide by a previous term to figure out what are we multiplying by. So I'm going to go with the middle term here. Divide by the first term. I'm going to be multiply and flipping. And then I'm going to do some canceling. I'm going to scratch the 2 negatives off, if that's okay with you. 2 negatives cancel to positive.
I guess so. It'll be okay for now.
For now.
This one.
What else?
You could divide by 5 or divide by 2 and 8.
5 and 15
over 8. 3 over 4.
would become, so that's a 3 and that's a 1 now.
Yeah, it's just 1. Could you just
And the,
I said that.
yeah. And what's going on with the 2 and the 8? I can cross off and put a 1 and a 4. So this makes 3/4.
I just put there, my calculator did it right.
Okay, ready? Oh, I guess I didn't even tell you which term to find. That's not good. Find, what's that?
We'll just leave that. That was the
Find, what should I do here? The 7th term 2, it's given though. That would be easy. Negative 15 over 8, done. Find the 7th term. Okay. Term 7 equals term 1, so negative 5 over 2, times 3/4 to the power of 6, because we're on the 7th term, but subtract 1. Okay, lots of brackets going on. Brackets are your friend.
Whoa, that's a big decimal.
It's going to times it as a fraction.
0.4449.
Did you get something like that?
Yep.
I got 0.44.
So it should be T7 equals instead of like 0 equals.
This was just something I scratched off because I accidentally wrote something wrong.
Because that would be a 0 wrong this time. That would be one.
Does, you can just do brackets on that. This is what I typed on my calculator.
Oh my gosh, I do.
So if I have a fraction button, can I just punch it in as fractions?
Did yours come out as a fraction?
No, but it came out.
Did
as
anybody have that?
Yes, I got
Yeah, that's what I got. I was confused. I didn't get a fraction. Weird.
If you had a fraction-y calculator,
I have a fraction button, but I never get fractions.
that's what I got.
Yeah, that's what I got. So we can write that.
Did you get the fraction one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a decimal.
You just have the calculator that does that for you? Did you not get it, Reese? Did you type it? You got it? This is, do you see, this is what I would have typed in here? Oh, okay. Oh, because you have like that fraction button.